This is my spare tire and wheel, and I brought it in as a reference. The star parts have the alloy, and the inserts are painted with like a silver metallic-y paint. This is the left rear, and it's marred up just like the others. This clear coat's got to be stripped off. But first I'm going to clean the back. Okay, here's the back. It's just grimy, full of brake dust that's embedded in. But I was able to clean that up with just a Zep cleaner and a Scotch-Brite. And I got it down to the original paint. Now I'm going to sand this hub with a block and make sure those surfaces are flat. Okay, this is 100 grit on a block. I got that flat. Okay, I removed the lead weight on there. I'm going to have these rebalanced when I have the alignment done. I'm using this 2-minute paint remover, and just going to apply it to everything. This insert is actually epoxy paint, and that's going to be hard to break off, but the rest of it, the clear, comes off pretty easy. I'm going to try and avoid touching the tire, and also the valve stem. Just work up around it. I let the stripper sit on there for about 10 minutes. I'm going to be using a plastic scraper, and I can see that the clear lacquer is lifted up already. So this should come off really good. I mean, done. Just flakes right off. Now this stuff is the epoxy paint, and it's going to take multiple coats of stripper to get that off. This is after the second coat of stripper. I used a plastic scraper on all the alloy metal, and that all came off really nice. This insert though has that epoxy paint, so I switched to kind of a dull metal putty knife, but it's just really thick. This is after 5 applications of stripper. I took it outside and rinsed it down with water to neutralize it, but I can still see chunks there, and then this is the real problem in here. Before I put on more stripper, I'm going to try using an electric drill with a wire wheel on it. The wire brush worked good. I got rid of most of that. These inserts are really rough, and I think that's why they used all that primer and sealant to make them smooth. I didn't want to put the wire on these spots. I have just spots of clear that didn't come off, so I'm going to take stripper and just do some touch up and remove that. Done all the touch up, you know, stripped everything off. It's clean. I got it rinsed down and neutralized. Now I'm going to use the orbital sander with start off with a 1. Okay, this is after 120, and then I hand sand it with the 120. All these individual bad spots got underneath the rim. So now I'm going to use 220 on the orbital. Okay, I have all these little spots right up here with clear. I didn't want to get paint stripper next to the tire, so I'm going to use a dull screwdriver and go around the outside of the rim like this. and get rid of all those. Okay, I scraped off what I could with the screwdriver, and there's still residue, like spots of clear. So I'm using an 80 grit disc, and I'm going in here and cleaning this up. I don't care if it's kind of scratched up, I just don't want to see the clear in there. Now I'm going to go over the rim with 320 on the orbital sander. Well, I'm now going to go around and hand sand everything with 320 emery cloth. Okay, I finished hand sanding everything with 320 emery cloth. I got a uniform color. I don't see any dark spots. I don't see any deep scratches. I thought if I was going to paint these, if I painted those inserts black, that would be a nice contrast. But once again, I think I could really mess that up, and that might look sloppy. Even getting under there, or like down in here, would be a problem. So now I'm getting ready for the wet dry, and I'm going to start off with 400 grit. Okay, I'm using soapy water. Okay, well, this is after 400 grit. All the alloy metal parts look good, but these inserts don't. I can see the swirl marks from the wire wheel on the drill, and if I polish those, I think they're just going to end up looking worse. So I'm going to see if I can get that out with a metal Scotch-Brite. This stuff is really rough. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get it out with this. Well, that don't look half bad. Well, that turned out good. I'm now going to clean out these holes for the wheel alignment. They're kind of dirty. Okay, I have a fairly coarse drum sander. I think it's 80 grit. I just want to get the grime out. Alright, I used the Dremel tool, and I just pulled a ton of junk out of there. I mean, it was just filthy. Next, I'm going to be using 600. Okay, that's after 600. And there's still tiny scratches. But I think as I go further and further down, they'll come out. So 800 is next. Okay, this is with the 800. I'm not sanding these inserts, just everything else. And that's looking good. So I'm going to move on to the 1000 grit next. Okay, this is after 1000 grit. Starting to get a little shiny in spots. But now I'm going to go to the last grit, which is 2000. Okay, well, that's what it looks like after the 2000. I mean, it's really smooth, but it's obviously not shiny at all. So the next step is going to be the polishing. Purchased a set of these polishing pads. They come in a disc, a cylinder, a ball, and a cone. I'm going to start off with this. This Mother's Megan aluminum polish. I'm going to do a test with this and see if I can get a shine off of this. I can start to see reflections. Here's my hand. It's really smooth. It just might take a couple of applications. Well, that's with 3 applications. It doesn't look that bad. I can see very tiny scratches in there that I probably didn't get out with the initial sanding. You know, I think that looks pretty good. It might look like chrome plated if it's any shinier. But I have lots of spots I can't get to. So I have this Dremel tool, and I have various sizes of felt tips. So I'm going to try this now. Well, I got in all the tight areas with the Dremel tool. Now I'm going to switch to a polishing pad. I'm going to try this lumpy one first. Okay, that pad worked good. I'm now going to switch to this flat one and try and get into these corners. I roughed this up with an 80, and I'm afraid that that's just too rough and stuff's going to stick in there, so I'm going to polish that up with a Dremel tool. Okay, I went from an 80 grit down to a 180. That turned out nice. It's all cleaned up. It's nice and smooth. And that's what it looks like with the bolt in it. There's the wheel. It's done. I think it turned out good. I mean, it doesn't look like it's chrome plated, but I'm fine with that. I wasn't sure about these center caps if I wanted the black ones, but now that I see it with the wheel cleaned up, I kind of like that. And it looks better than I thought. I thought this would have been marred up. I mean, it's not as shiny, but that's what gives it a contrast. So, well, that took 9 hours. 1 done, 3 more to go. I was going to wait and clear them later after I have all my wheel alignments and balancing done. But I'm not sure I want to clear them at all. Not if they end up looking like this. This almost looks like it's dipped in plastic, and I don't like that gray paint on there. You know, I prefer the real metal look of that, even though it's kind of rough. So, yeah, that turned out good.